And now, here with another designated podcast are Teddy and JJ.
Okay.
Hey everybody, JJ Marshall and this guy, whatever his name is.
Teddy Allen.
Oh yeah. We're here for another designated podcast here on Designated Writers. Glad you joined us. It's our official, wasn't that funny?
No, I'm just
It's our official
in general. Post-World Series edition.
Yeah, that.
First one we've ever done. Last year
It is the first one we've ever done.
Last year was a different one.
Overriding thoughts on the World Series, Mr. Allen?
Well, I know that you have talked me into liking the Red Sox as this October went on.
Yeah.
You said, they're more likable than I thought, and they are. Play hard, and I'm going to tell you, JJ, they were the best team in baseball. There's no question.
Yeah.
Sometimes you flip a coin, but this case, they were the most outstanding team.
Sometimes I want the best team in the regular season to win, but what struck me this year was how different they managed during the playoffs than they do during the regular season. Craig Counsell aside, but even Alex Cora. I mean, Evaldi's up there warming up in the last night just in case he needed to pitch. I mean, it's just
everything by the data, strictly by data.
It's kind of like they threw out. You know what? It may not be his turn to pitch, but by God, we might need somebody to win this game.
Yeah, I didn't understand. Like taking Rich Hall out the other night when he's got a one-hitter going.
Did you see what he did?
I saw that he hung around and cheered for his team. He was not very excited about going out to start with. Yeah, the candy.
No, he gave him the ball. Roberts might have been going out there just to say, hey, let's keep the ball in.
And
he got to the mound and Rich Hall gave him the ball.
Is that what occurred?
Roberts was like, well, I guess I'll have to take it.
No wonder why he did that.
Because he had told him before the inning, hey, you may want to, I may be done. And when he came out there, it could have been to say, hey, let's work the first and third play or whatever it was. Rich Hall gives him the ball. He hadn't gotten on the dirt yet.
Didn't know that.
I'm off and up out.
Well, then that's why Roberts changed the pitchers.
Yeah, and maybe he wanted to anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's a different managerial style. And I kind of like the dynamic of American League. I mean, J.D. Martinez. What are we going to do with this guy? Who we're going to sit the second baseman? We're going to sit the left fielder? Whatever. Okay. And of course, a fly ball goes out there to right field that he can't see, which is kind of ball tends to find you. But I was really struck by how the World Series it changes. 162 games is one way, and 7 games is another way.
October's a whole different thing. I think it was the second game that 43, 44 guys played in, whatever, that took so long. But that was everybody's mixing and matching the whole game long. Was it first game or second game?
First game, I think.
Okay. Anyway, but if you're going to do it by data, that's the way it's going to be from now on. Now, you can manage the team, the guys. But
I mean, it had an 18-inning game, which I got home at midnight and watched 5 innings and then DVR'd the rest of it. I'll tell more about that later.
I got on an aeroplane. It was top of the 11th. It took 2 hours to play 4 innings because when we landed, I said, who won? One of y'all. As soon as one of y'all gets, my phone's dead. Give me a number as soon as you get Wi-Fi. Oh, it's top 15. I listened to the rest of the game on the way home.
Yeah, and I was like, well, when did they put the guy on second base to try to, I thought, this is fine.
No, it's good. It's great.
Y'all can complain about it all you want to, how long it is, and baseball is boring. You know what? It's an 18-inning game. What are you going to remember? An 18-inning
game. 3 baseballs. 2 World Series games in 1.
Yeah, exactly.
2 World Series games in 1. Obviously, the most dominating performance in the last decade. Postseason baseball, maybe the 07 Red Sox.
We're good. When they swept the Cardinals?
Yeah, but if you think back on some of the most dominating teams in postseason, you've got your, I'm going to remind you some people, your 70 Orioles. Now, we were just getting where we knew there was a place named Philadelphia and Baltimore and all that thing.
Right.
But I think the Reds, there was a pre-Big Red Machine. They were almost a Big Red Machine. And the Orioles swept them, and they swept whoever in the division.
Pirates.
The leagues. Thank you. In 70, was it Pirates?
Well, it's always the Pirates and the Reds during my late elementary school years. It
76 Big Red Machine.
Yeah, 4 egg on the Yankees.
Yeah, they went.
That was tough.
Like through a goose. Really, the 95 Braves had a dominating postseason.
Yeah.
Until they got to the end, they beat them 4-1, 4-2. But
the last game was 1-0 when Glavine.
Okay, thank you.
When Glavine got by at the end of the game on a Dave Justice home run, that was it.
The late 90s Yankees teams, 98, 99.
Yeah, they wiped the Padres up.
Yep.
So, there were some dominant
teams. But it's been 10 years.
But again, I go back to the Mariners won 118, 116 games that year, and didn't even get to the championship series, much
Right.
less the World
No,
Series.
Right, because October baseball is a different ballgame.
It is.
And so that's why I was saying, if you go back and think some postseason domination, the Red Sox are the best in the last 10 years, I venture to say.
Well, and here's what I love about the Red Sox. Steve Pearce played in 48 different teams. I think he's played on the Japanese league 6 times. I literally never heard, and I follow baseball. I never heard of Steve Pearce.
And he looks like a baseball player.
Oh,
He looks like an old school
goodness,
baseball. And good
yeah.
for him. That's October is for heroes like that to come out of nowhere.
Right.
And God love him for battling it.
Yeah.
For all those games and
every
the dress
time,
changes.
yeah, every time he came up, it seemed like something big happened. But yeah, 35 years old, the Red Sox. But I will say the thing about it, and my brother's a diehard Red Sox fan.
Yes, he is.
Mookie Betts is just the name, how
all.
great he is, the handing out at the food bank that night after he wins the World Series game.
He looks like a Mookie should look.
After the game is over with, they're all there jumping up and down, celebrating, and Mookie goes and get interviewed by Tom Verducci, and that guy's all right by me. They kept saying he's the presumptive MVP. I like to point out that Martinez had like 1 million home runs and 2 million RBIs. I guess he's going to win the MVP, but whether or not he does, I mean, that's just, man, Mookie Betts, that's just a guy I got a chance to watch a lot more of. Didn't really play that well in the World Series, but
We praise around for the next dozen years.
it's guys like that. You watch them during the concentrated time, like the Astros last year. I knew name, rank, and serial number of every Astro by the time this was over with last year. Red Sox are the favorite for next year along with the Astros. I still think the American League will still be much, much better.
Golly.
A lot of it's going to shift on where Bryce Harper goes, maybe where Clayton Kershaw goes.
Maybe.
And there'll be a balance of power shift in there. So Machado, where's he going to go? He's not going to go with the Dodgers or stay there because they had Corey Seager coming back. So, but it doesn't matter, I mean, yeah, the Red Sox have a high payroll. I understand that. But the Royals didn't a few years ago. And baseball's that sport where you don't have to have the highest payroll. You don't have to buy yourself a championship. It helps.
Right.
But you don't have to.
And then another way baseball's changed is you mentioned the Royals, who nobody talked about all summer long, but 2 years ago, they were magic.
Yeah.
Magic. Also, before we go, who are we just talking about?
The Red Sox?
Yeah, the pitcher for the left-hander for the
Kershaw.
Oh, I assume you forget. The last night, the 0-2, and he gives up the base hit. It just made me. I just grabbed my head and I said, "What are you doing?" And then the next guy bombs. Your guy,
Yeah. Steve Pearce.
MVP, the non-presumptuous MVP or whatever it is. Anyway, God, so I didn't understand it. It's just like me suddenly he gets out there and he's me when it gets to be October. God love him.
All right. It's also LSU-Alabama week.
No.
And, that's the reaction a lot of people have. I don't know.
I'm going to double check the line, but one of my good friends told me he thought it was 14.5.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think LSU would be favored by that much.
Yes. Sounds a little strange. Well, it's going to be everywhere we go. It's going to dominate conversations for quite a long time.
And it should.
Yeah.
It should around here.
I mean, it's a big game. It's this week's game of the year until the next one is, which could be Ohio State, Michigan in a few weeks or whatever. But, it's set up for LSU pretty well. The only thing it seems like that that might be in their favor, if you start checking boxes, is you don't know about Alabama's quality of opposition. Now, granted, if you score 60 against anybody, the competition doesn't seem to be that good. But Georgia hadn't played anybody, and LSU took care of them. This game's also at home. We think Alabama's much better. Are we sure that they are? I guess that question will be answered Saturday night at Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, and then you don't know how the what are the Tigers are going to play. I mean, how?
Right.
I mean, I saw them against Louisiana Tech, and Louisiana Tech is a fine team. They're 6-2, and they played wonderful defense that night. They turned it over a couple of times. They trailed by 3 in the fourth quarter on the road. And I know Devin White's good because he was everywhere the ball was. But still, they had to rally to beat those guys. And again, Tech's got a good team, but I still don't know if you've seen LSU with a complete performance yet.
You look at it, Auburn's got a better offense. Alabama, without Devin White, might have a better defense. It's probably, obviously it's close. I think the LSU defensive backs are much better. This game has been close. The last 3 times it's been played in Baton Rouge, 2012, 14, and 16. 2012, 2004-12, LSU had the game on its racket. A.J. McCarron leads them down the field.
Yeah.
I know that night because my daughter got married that night.
Yes, she did.
The next year was a 10-0 game. It was 0-0 after 3 quarters, and Hurts just finally just ran it in. And so he had a chance, so to speak, last time. So they've made it close games in Tiger Stadium, now in Tuscaloosa, where they're not playing this week. Mm-hmm. It's been somewhat of a different story. But, there's something to LSU playing Bama at home.
Yep, 3 things, and at nighttime.
Yeah.
The game of the week, I guess, on CBS.
Yep.
3 things real quick. Tech threw for 330 yards against them. And they scored more points in the stadium than Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Georgia, whoever else has played there this year. But that's 330 against DBU or whatever.
Right.
So they are susceptible. And the other thing is, when I heard your daughter, my close friend, was getting married on LSU-Alabama Day, I went, oh, that's a tough break. You were thrilled.
Absolutely.
And then I said,
watch the savings add up.
Right. I immediately had the same reaction I have right now thinking about it all those years ago. That's brilliant. Mm-hmm. Brilliant. So
you said 3 things, it's only 2.
Yeah, I could only think of 2.
Poor math.
Right. I could only think of 2 of them.
That's South Carolina
Once I
math.
started thinking of Jordan, I just started laughing. That was a wonderful, wonderful day. Okay.
All right, that's it for the Designated Podcast. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back at you with another one of these babies pretty soon.
It won't be long.
Clear.